Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Taurus in December 2020. What is going on, Taurus? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Taurus, welcome to December 2020. It's the end of the year. How do you feel about it? Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. Taurus, please continue to take very good care of yourselves and other people that you know and love around you, because just because the year is ending doesn't mean all the BS we've been dealing with or the trouble we've been dealing with is just magically going to go away by the 31st. Not possible. So, anyway, general announcements, of course. Happy holidays to you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy winter solstice, whatever you celebrate, whatever your traditions are, whatever you're going to be focused on and trying to enjoy for the holiday season. I hope it goes well. Please, again, take precautions. If you're able to skip getting together with people you don't normally interact with on a daily basis because of that old pandemic that it still won't quit, I would advise, if you can, skip it. But if you can't, take all the precautions that are necessary, okay? Anything else for December's general readings? No, I don't think so. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Taurus, anything you want from me, it's in the description box already. If you want the timestamp, it's down there. If you want information on how to purchase a personal reading with me, it is down there, as well as the link to my Instagram if you want to follow me over there on that platform, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. Messages for Taurus, or excuse me, the outcome for Taurus. I already got the messages. Outcome for Taurus, please, for December 2020. Outcome for Taurus in December 2020, please show me. Well, that was easy. Put that down, and yes, there we go. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Okay, a lot of face down energy, which to me indicates possibly some not wanting to engage, quiet moments, possibly a lot of internalized energy, something like that. But okay, it's the first time that happened. That did not come in the reverse, and I was seeing him in the pre-shuffle, and now I've made a mess of the board, so give me 2 seconds, because we like things to look a little nice on the channel, if I'm just going to give you my hands to look at, right? Alright, there we go. Alright, Taurus, let's see what's going on. Please show me where Taurus is in December 2020. Taurus in December 2020, please show me. Interesting. Okay, here's what's going on. I'm seeing a thing and I'm feeling a thing. Okay, so what I'm seeing is this. What I'm feeling is this. We're going to go here, but please note that this was also pulling my energy, okay? But this was being like in my head, like boom, boom, boom. So we're going to start here, okay? So Taurus, coming into the reading, you start with the energy of the Hermit. Major Arcana for Virgo. Could be dealing with a Virgo, but you don't have to be. I mean, that kind of speaks to what I was saying about with all the cards coming face down, or most of them coming face down in the beginning, is you might be going through a very like quiet phase, a internal phase. And that's kind of, the bread and butter of the Hermit. Quiet, isolated, reserved energy. The purpose with the Hermit, though, when we see him in tarot, is that he's on a quest, he's on a journey for some type of revelation, personal revelation, usually stemming from or related to something that resides within us, right? I feel, Taurus, some of you have gone through, very specifically, a dark night of the soul situation. You can look that up if you're not familiar. And it's not really my forte to talk about that, but that's the phrase that they want me to express to you, dark night of the soul. So if you're into that, you know what that's about, or you feel you've experienced that, congratulations, there is a confirmation there for you. In less specific terms, Taurus, I think you've been doing some soul searching, whether or not it's related to any type of spiritual awakening, whether or not it's related to any type of revelation about who you are in relation to the cosmos or the universe or God or anything else is notwithstanding. But you have been soul searching. I feel you've been looking for a way to make it right is something that's coming through, a way to make it right, or a way to find yourself out of a dark situation, right? And again, that's like the bread and butter of the hermit. He seeks, and I say he only because there's a bearded fellow here on the card. You could be relating to this and you're a female, it does not matter. But yeah, just trying to find a way out of a dark place, a dark time, a dark mindset. Not to say you've been rude or you've been mean to people. Some of you may have been, take it with a grain of salt. If you know you've been kind of a not so nice person, you know that. But it's more of like it's dark, like it's like that. It's like those moments where you could be in a crowded room, but you feel totally alone. Like you've been feeling that way for a while, or at least someone you've been dealing with, because this is a general, it can go vice versa. So you could be dealing with someone who's going through something like this. But Taurus, I feel it's mostly your energy, the collective energy of Tauruses. It feels like it's mostly you. And I like it because I think at this time, most of you are not afraid to do this work. There is sometimes a heavy air of reluctance with the hermit energy because it's such a big task. It's such a big thing to go into the darkest sides of yourself, go into the most hurt parts of yourself, or memories that you have, and emotional conditioning or emotional standpoints or perspectives that you have that are not always the easiest to deal with, right? Could also be asking that you explore certain relationships, thank you, that you have in your life that carry this energy. So you would be sharing this with another person. Not only are you in this, sort of solitary, soul-searching moment, you might be sharing that with a friend or a family member or a lover or something like that. And, especially if you're dealing with another person and you vibe together in that energy, or you're doing that work in relation to how you guys connect, that's not easy work. Nobody wants to unearth all the bad shit in their relationship, no matter what type we're talking about. Most of us just want to have a good time and get along with people. And the hermit, again, that's the bread and butter of the hermit, isn't interested in that, is more than willing, even if it takes a long time, or even if it's slow paced, because the hermit is an older gentleman with that long beard. So we presume that this journey is not something that's done overnight, right? So even if the timing of it is too much, or the degree at which we have to do this exploration is seemingly too much, or it's overwhelming, the hermit grins and bears it, goes into it, does the damn thing, right? So there's a can't even talk today. Perseverance. I'm not pronouncing that right, but you get me. Like there's a resoluteness, thank you, that's another way we could say it, of doing this work, okay? I like that because it's aware. If you have the hermit but you're not aware, you're really wasting the energy. But it feels like many of you are aware. This is what is being asked of you. You know this is what you have to do in order to overcome what needs to be overcome, right? You know this is the work that is required of you, and you're willing. That's what this feels like, okay? So what else happens, please? For Virgo. For Virgo, my bad. So some of you, that's a slip of the tongue. Some of you, if you are dealing with a Virgo, that's extra confirmation. But what else happens for Taurus? Please show me. Yes. Okay. So there's a lot of in and out energy. In, out, in, out, in, out. Right? There's a lot of you guys, or there's several days or several hours within a day where you're out and about and like, this isn't bothering you. Whatever this is, it's not bothering you. Then there are times, quiet moments, or like I said, even in the middle of a crowded room, you feel suddenly alone. That's what this is. This is in and out of this energy. So, yes. Okay, so what I'm seeing is on either side, direct route, what I would call a direct route, either going horizontally or vertically. You've got cards of avoidance. Yes, that makes sense, because remember I told you the start position was between the hermit and this card, Eight of Pentacles. We'll talk about that later. But so what's going on and why is this happening? Listen, unsatisfied. Four of Cups. So somewhere in your life, I almost called you Virgo again. I'm sorry. Taurus. Somewhere in your life, Taurus, something is unsatisfactory to you. Point blank period. Okay? Um, Emotionally speaking, you're not as fulfilled as you want to be. Um, if I'm honest, it feels very fleeting, haphazard, or you feel alone in your emotions. So, fleeting, haphazard. So there are 4 cups on this card. One is sitting in front of this guy and he's contemplating it. He's like looking at it kind of begrudgingly, arms sort of folded across his chest there. He's not really having it. He's not really feeling what's in that cup. 2 other cups are dangling from the tree branch, and 1 other cup is being offered by a cloud, but it's way off behind him. So your emotions basically are all over the place. Like from day to day, you might be in a different mindset, a different mood. You might have a totally different outlook on life. On Monday, everything's peachy keen and, nothing's going to get you down. Tuesday, all is lost. You might as well give up and throw in the towel and just, forget all of your dreams, forget all of the people and relationships that you have in your life because they're all garbage. And then Wednesday, you're kind of back to like, sort of like a neutral space where, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then Thursday, it becomes bad again. And then Friday, it becomes great again, So a lot of oscillation, thank you. A lot of changing in your emotional body at this time is what this feels like, haphazard. And I think it's because in some of your cases, your emotions are dependent. Ooh, your emotions are dependent. What do you mean? Your emotions are dependent. A lot of you, like I said before, talking about the Hermit card, a lot of your emotional hang-ups right now involve other people. Friends, family, lovers, I don't care who it is. And each of those relationships, the quality of it, what type of relationship it is, how long you've known this person, how much you've given to them, how much they've given to you, all those things are different, right? And so I don't get the sense that you're able to have a sort of overall evaluation of where you stand in each relationship because each relationship brings you something different. Does that make sense? Well, I mean, that's factual of any relationship that we have. None of them are equal to the other because they involve us plus a different person. I have 2 siblings and I have 2 very different relationships with both of them, even though they're both related to me by sibling ties. You see what I mean? And that's that's again down to them being different from me and them being different from each other. Okay. There's something about you're not able to really, you're frustrated by this, let's say, because he's folding his arms, right? Our little guy and he's on an island. He's by himself. Again, imagery of isolation. But anyway, I think you're frustrated by this. I think you kind of like, if you wanted to do like, again, an overall evaluation of all your relationships across all the types you've had, long-term, short-term, it does not matter. I think you just want to go, okay, I know I'm in good standing with everybody, or I know that I feel confident and secure in all of my relationships. That's what you want. You want like to paint them all with a broad brush, right? Be able to say, hands down, 100%, all the people that I know that I deem are close to me have my back and I have their back, and there's this type of reciprocal energy between us. But that's not the case. For an example, for me personally, I have family that I'm super close with, and I have family I don't even talk to them. Some of that is just because we don't really talk that often. We don't intersect that much, even though we share a fair amount of genetic material. We don't usually talk. Whereas with my other sibling, they talk all the time. So it's like, again, you would rather have it be, I talk to everybody, everybody's my friend, everybody's cool with me, I'm cool with everybody, and it's just it's copacetic. Or if you just if we're not going to talk, I don't talk to anybody. I'm like totally boo radly. I'm totally isolated from everybody, and I have no intimate relationships to speak of. It's like you want one or the other, and the varied or the specific nature is it has to be evaluated by each individual person you are connected with. One second. I had to sneeze. Apologize about that. Every person that you connect with, that each of those relationships has to be evaluated on an individual basis. And okay, take it this way again, because the hermit explores the hurts or the pains, right? So let's go with family, because I think family is something many of us can relate to more easily than, say, friends. Family, we have in this society, in most societies, this perception, this expectation that family, blood is thicker than water, is always going to be by your side. But let's go ahead and, rip the bandage off of that, because that's not reality. Just because you're blood related to a person does not mean that you or they are going to honor that relationship and treat the other person the way that they deserve to be treated, with respect and integrity and all that good stuff. Okay. So let's just accept that. Can we accept that as a mostly objective truth? Now, that can be bothersome to you or someone else or whoever in the situation, because let's say, again, it's a sibling relationship. Let's say you've got 5 siblings or 4 siblings. So there's 5 of you total, right? So let's say you talk to 2 of them and the other 2 you don't talk to. And that would bother you, because somebody here is like, I just want it all to be the same. If we're all brothers and sisters, I just want us all to speak. I want us all to communicate. I want us all to get along. I want us all to share in this camaraderie, not half and half. I don't want to speak to half of my siblings and the other half I don't talk to them. Or vice versa. If I'm not going to talk to you two, then I might as well not talk. It's like this, I want a universal experience. And that, again, is possibly a deep wounding because of this expectation of family. Again, even though it's not the reality, which I think most of us can agree on, it's not a rule. It's something we would want. It's something that we hope for, but it's not a rule, because it's just how people are wired. You can look to so many stories in your own life, or several famous stories of how parents abandon their children, how parents do everything for their children, but their children turn out to be, little hellions, and they become ungrateful, and they become terrible people. There's no guarantee that the people that you're born into relations with, your family, are gonna be what you expect them to be. And I feel there's something here where some of you, this is not for everybody, and I'm mostly using as an example, so I hope you can transfer the meaning to other areas of your life where it's not family, but there's something about this expectation of family should do this. Family is not doing this, now I'm upset. And it's not like suddenly now, it's like years this has been developing. Perhaps the newness of it is the revelation, like, oh, this is what's upsetting me. So I'm really close with my brother, but I haven't spoken to my sister in 6 years, right? Something like that. And you've done something for 6 years, presumably you would be used to it, right? Excuse me. That would be the presumption. But it's bothering someone that something emotionally is unstable, haphazard, in disarray, and they don't know how to get a handle on it. 1 second. Pardon me. So yeah, so you don't really have a handle on it, and so again, this is like a fluctuating reading for you, Taurus. So I feel, like I mentioned before, I do feel that many of you have this resoluteness in you. You have this perseverance in you, this wanting to push through and get the job done. But like I said later when I was talking about the 4 of Cups, it goes back to well, some days you're just like, forget it. And you want to phone it in, or you want to throw in the towel and completely just forget about it. And this 2 of Swords signals that again. So on either side of the Hermit, again, in direct relation, either horizontally or vertically, we have these elements of avoidance and this element of confusion. So confusion here with the 4 of Cups, avoidance here with the 2 of Swords. So just like being blind to it. Like put it out of your mind, out of sight, out of mind, or isn't that it? Out of sight, out of mind? Yeah. So if you don't speak to the person and you haven't been speaking to the person, you kind of go, well, I'm not missing anything anyway. For 6 years, we haven't talked, so it's no big deal. Even though emotionally speaking, on the deepest, at the deepest part of yourself, you do care and you are exploring the wounding that's there, the disappointment that's there, right? But your conscious mind, what's closer to the surface is, nope, it doesn't matter. Nah, I haven't spoken to this person. No, it's okay. And it's not okay. Emotionally speaking, it's not okay. Two of Swords, avoidant. It's swords, so not communicating, right? Straight up not communicating. And I'm not sensing this, but let's say this person did reach out to you and you haven't spoken to them in a long time. Your automatic response is to not respond. Even though part of you wants to respond. You have been curious. Like, I'm running with this idea. It doesn't apply to everybody because some of you are very much still in communication with these people on a regular, if not daily basis, but perhaps there's a specific element to your conversation that you're avoiding. So don't take it as this only applies to people that you are in no communication with. That's not true. Some of these people, you talk to them regularly. You might even live with them, okay? But it's a matter of what you talk about, how you communicate, what is being brought to the surface isn't what needs to be brought to the surface. So, Two of Swords doesn't want to involve with anything deep. See that body of water behind her? She could be submerged in that, but she's not. When we see water in tarot, it talks about the emotional depths of something or the emotional truth of something, or since these are choppy waters, it looks a little wavy there might be emotional disturbance. So what's the truth of the matter? Taurus or someone else you're dealing with is super bothered by what's transpiring or what's not transpiring, right? Again, if you are in regular communication with these people or this person, you're not saying what needs to be said. The conversation doesn't ever go deep. It remains on the surface, right? That's not, it's not getting you the healing that you're after. It's not getting you into this, it's not allowing the hermit to sort of do what he needs to do. Because again, on either side, there is an attempt to block this out in some of your cases. Two of Swords is definitely a block, number one. And the Four of Cups, it's so confused, it doesn't know what to do, so it ends up blocking because it's ineffective. Or it's, again, so haphazard, right? Now, I'm sticking with my original point that there is some resoluteness here with the Hermit. One, because this is a major arcana and these are minors. Majors, more often than not, trump the minors, okay? I'm also getting, that was very quick with the Two of Swords, basically, so quick. The other part, like I said, we would end up talking about, the Eight of Pentacles. So recall at the start of the reading, Taurus, I was between the Hermit and this card to start your reading. So there is this dedication to the task at hand that is the innate meaning of the Eight of Pentacles, right? Being focused, being assured, and again, dedicated to the work that needs to be done. Now, Pentacles usually talks about, our actual physical jobs or something to do with how we make money or how we secure ourselves in a physical way. So for some of you, you could be throwing yourselves at work. Now, how does that help or how does that relate back to the Hermit? I feel in some of your cases, like the offshoot or the residual effect of possibly not having this emotional satisfaction that you need or that you're seeking, right, gets funneled into your work. So your home life might not be the best, but your work life is popping. Does that make sense? You might feel really unaccomplished at home, but at work, like, let's again go with this idea of what needs to be said is not being said. So at home, you're not able to have those crucial, deep diving discussions with family, right? But at work, when any problem arises, you're right in the middle. You're right there, giving people the truth. You're right there, acting as a problem solver. You see what I mean? That's the type of environment that you've cultivated for yourself outside of your home, right? Could go vice versa, by the way. Like, I don't want this to be like, oh, it's only people who are affected with family issues or family drama or trauma or anything like that. No, it could go vice versa. Your home life You go home, you speak about what's going on in your day, and feelings are understood. There's no haphazardness there. But the reverse could be happening at your job. You don't know whether you're coming or going. You don't know whether people respect you, whether people want to work with you. And there's like just this unsatisfactory feeling emotionally with your work. It can go in any area. Okay. So, it does not have to be your home life is crap and your external life is beautiful. No, it could be very well reversed. Okay. But the manifestation, or the sort of residual effect of the hermit not being able to go as deep as the hermit needs to in order to get you to a better place. Again, I'm calling you Virgo. If you're dealing with a Virgo, I haven't done the reading yet, obviously, but it might be worth watching. I don't know when I'm going to do it, and I don't know what the message will be, but that's like 3 or 4 times I've slipped and called you them. Taurus. What was I saying? The work that needs to be done, it sort of has this effect where you're driving towards fulfilling yourself on an external level. Because hermit is very internal energy, very, keeps to the self, very quiet, very reflective. 8 of Pentacles is production, is creation, is getting involved in things outside of ourselves, focused on tasks, focused on jobs, focused on creation, focused on earning money, things that keep us busy, right? So the fervor or the dedication and the follow through that the hermit needs is actually being given to outside situations, okay? This energy needs to be put back into the hermit. But, like I said, many of you are dealing with other people, and this is central to your relationships. And it's not going to be balanced if you want to do work, get to the bottom of issues, and other people around you are not interested in that work, or vice versa. Someone could be coming to you, Taurus, is like, hey, I want to talk about what's going on between us. I want to talk about why we're not getting along right now. I want to talk about what was going on when we were growing up in the house, blah, 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 blah. And you go, la, 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 la. I can't hear you. That could be you, 2 of Swords. Right? So this isn't, again, put yourself where you fit. Now, what else happens? Hey, yeah. What did I just say? So I feel your energy, either you yourself or you're dealing with another person and you guys are having like an opposite reaction. So, well, not opposite reaction, but incongruent reaction. So, first, 7 of Wands, defensive energy. Not wanting to engage, feeling daunted, feeling overwhelmed in a situation, possibly a little ornery, possibly a little like, mind your damn business, shut up about it, like shooting people, like basically shooting people down. Anybody who comes towards this person, could be you or the other person, is like, hey, let's talk about this, and this person is like, nope, not talking about it, and total shutdown, right? I feel I've never seen the trilogy, not even like, a solid 5 minutes, but they flashed in my mind that scene from the Lord of the Rings, or that thing that Gandalf says, you shall not pass. Like, that's kind of what this is. You shall not pass. You shall not get what you're seeking from me. You're not going to be able to get me to engage in the way that you want me to engage. I really feel someone here, and because it's a defensive posture, is protecting their vulnerability. Whatever that means to them or whatever that means to you. They're not wanting to be put in a position of less than, quote unquote, less than. It feels like, if we aren't talking about a family issue, again, it does not have to be family, but this is like the example that just keeps ringing true in my mind. If it was a situation where you grew up in the same house as your brother or sister or whoever, right? There is this, I don't want to go back to that mindset. I don't want to go back to that feeling. When you're younger, as most of us in this world, at some point, we were younger, right? when you're a child, you don't have control over anything, pretty much, right? and you're living at the whim, you're living at the mercy, you're living under the hopefully love and care of sound, capable, mature adults. If you didn't grow up with sound, capable, mature adults who loved and cared for you the way that we expect family to take care of us, parents to take care of us, older brothers and uncles and aunties and all that stuff to take care of us, there's this, I don't want to go back and think about that coming from this Seven of Wands. I don't want to relive those memories, which again is very much on the to-do list of the Hermit. Hermit often explores deep woundings that come from childhood or early development, right? Explores things that we have suppressed and repressed in our memory, whether they be traumatic and horrifying or whether they just be unpleasant or embarrassing or shameful, whatever, right? Hermit is interested in doing that work. Seven of Wands is like, nah, bro, get that away from me. We're not doing that, right? And it doesn't even have to be you. So let me go a little bit further here, Taurus. So for some of you, you could be wanting to do this work for yourself. And again, it's possibly reliant on other people. So let's say, God forbid, but let's just say, because it's reality. And when I do tarot, I'm talking about real shit. Let's say you have a fuzzy memory of a particular period in your development as a younger person. And you suspect that something really traumatic happened to you. This happens because it's a psychological thing, right? Trauma happens. A lot of times people, they lose the memory. They black out. They block it out because it's too painful. That's the psyche protecting itself, right? So let's say you go to a relative and you say, hey, you know, when I was here, living here, or we were doing this and we were moving here, what happened? Did like something happen? Because you can't honestly remember. And you might be reliant on other people to fill in those blanks for you. So you might turn to your brother, you might turn to your sister, you might turn to your grandparents and say, hey, I'm a little fuzzy on the details here. Can you tell me? Because I'm really trying to, piece this together so that I can, be freaking relieved and relaxed in my life or find some type of healing in my life. And the other person who knows what happened does not want to share. They shut it down. They say, that's in the past. And you're like, yeah, I know it's in the past, but I'm working on myself. Possibly some of you are going through therapy or you're working on this all on your own, whatever. And this is part of the work that needs to be done. The Hermit is thirsty for the wounding. I gotta be honest, that's what the Hermit loves. Not loves and like, ooh, I love that you're in pain. Like loves because, okay, now that I know what was wrong, now I know how to go about fixing it, right? You don't have these details. This other person or these other people, they do. And they don't want to tell you. It's too painful for them. It's too embarrassing or shameful for them. They don't believe it ever happened because they, in their own way, repress the memory. I could never think such an awful thing happened under this roof. So let me just go ahead and erase it from my memory too. You see what I mean? So I don't know the details, but something like that is happening here for you and other people. And interestingly, I don't know how this last card is going to fit in. Thank you. That's the word I wanted, the F word I wanted, fit in. But you have the Chariot as the last part of your main spread here. Major Arcana for Cancer. You could be dealing with a Cancer, but you don't have to be. We're at a crossroads. Thank you. We're at a crossroads is what they're telling me. So this is a very pivotal moment in your life, in your life's book. Interesting. In your life's book, Taurus, where I don't know if it's going to make or break anything per se, but it's pivotal. It's a turning point. It's a crossroads. I think what you're doing, whether you're actively trying to get to some healing point, get to personal revelations, and transcend your past or transcend these haphazard emotions that are reliant on other relationships that you have, whatever. I don't know what your goal is, what your aim is. However, you stand at a crossroads. And when we're at a crossroads, the implicit meaning is things are not going to be the same anymore once we decide which way we're going to go, whether we're going to go left or right, whether we're going to go east or west. You know what I mean? And that's sort of what it feels like. It sort of feels like a do or die situation. And I hate to use that phrasing, but that's kind of what this feels like. And again, that's not usually what Tauruses want, because I think you want an all or nothing kind of thing, which is sort of similar to what I'm saying about do or die. Meaning, going back to that idea of painting a broad brush across your families or family members or your friends, right? I either talk to everybody and I'm cool with everybody, or I don't talk to anybody. And I'm just like a total loner, a total, shut in, a total recluse, right? It's not going to be that way, most likely. In the majority of your cases, it's probably not going to go that way. And so I think the turning point or the crossroads is actually accepting, or at least becoming more okay with, some people, they're factored into my life and that's where they're going to be, and I'm happy with that. Other people, I want them to be factored into my life, but they're not going to be because of all these reasons and whatever, right? And sort of coming to terms with, in some of your cases, finally letting go. Finally accepting that after 6 years of silence, me and my sister, it's just not going to work. Like maybe somewhere in the back of your mind or in the back of her mind, it's like, hey, maybe we'll get this back together. Maybe we'll patch things up. Maybe there'll be some reconciliation. And for now, it feels like, just forget that. Because it's not serving anyway. Because it's not the present moment. It's living in the future. It's having all this emphasis on, well, in due time, it'll come back back around and we'll just reconcile. And it's just like, no, that's not the reality in the moment. And that underserves the Chariot and the Hermit. Living too far into the future with the what ifs and wondering and pondering and dreaming of what could be, it underserves the moment because you're delaying your own healing, right? If you're waiting for apologies, if you're waiting for someone to come and say, oh, Taurus, I realized this, and oh, now I understand, and just has like this aha moment and you guys can patch things up, or someone's waiting for that from you, that doesn't serve. Because what is needed right now? Hermit needs to dive into the pain right now, dive into the wounding right now, and get into the business of healing it. And the Chariot has to move forward. Chariot is all about forward progression, not really standing on, standing in the wings, on standby, waiting for the signal to go. The Chariot just goes, right? So you're at this crossroads. Once you decide east or west, left or right, up or down, whatever, go that way and don't look back is what that feels like. If you are thinking, pondering, oh, do I need to, explore my wounding? Do I need to do, again, some of you have had a dark night of the soul, so you're already on this trajectory anyway. Go with it. Full force. Like I said, symmetry, 1, 2, 3. Remember I told you the 8 of Pentacles, that dedication needs to be put back into the Hermit. You also need to put the Chariot into the Hermit as well. These two need to go here. These three, related. Interesting. All right, so I had like a diamond triangle kind of thing happened here, right? So that's how those are related. Excellent, that makes sense to me. Now, outcome for December for you, Taurus, is the 7 of Swords. I don't think I've ever gotten this card in a general reading for the collective, ever. And I've had this deck for years. That's very interesting because the artwork is so unfamiliar to me. I'm like, what is it? Oh, it's the 7 of Swords. Okay. So 7 of Swords can be manipulation, deception, all that kind of stuff. And there might be tinges of that involved here. Like I said, you might be seeking information from people. You want them to fill in the blanks and they're like, nah, I don't got you. That's a part of deception. That's a part of manipulation. That's a part of underhanded tactics, whether they are aware of that or not, or whether their intention is that or not. Okay. But more to the point, I think for you, I feel this 7 of Swords is sort of like understanding that sometimes the answers will never be there. The answer that you're hoping for, the answer that you're seeking, the answer that you would have bet money on, would have bet your life on, it's not going to be provided to you. Or it's not going to be revealed to you at this time. Let's say it that way. Because the 7 of Swords is about sort of walking away and taking what doesn't belong to you, or walking away and there's some sense of falseness in it. So I get the sense that someone might be doing this to you, meaning, again, you might be specifically asking or hoping, if not asking, hoping that someone provides you with truth, and they don't. And they won't, because they can't. They're unwilling, they're unable, whatever. And what can you do when the truth you're seeking is not provided? What do you do? Like, that's kind of possibly filtering back into your hermit energy. You're in this, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? I asked very poignantly, I asked very clearly for someone to give me some insight here, to fill in those blanks, to tell me the truth, and they don't. They refuse. What they do tell you is you already know it's a lie because they've been saying it for years. Whatever. So what do you do? What's the resolution to that, or what's the next step after that? There's a lot of questioning going on with this Seven of Swords energy. I think it makes you feel super confused because possibly for the first time, some of you, you've had these conversations over years, or you've hinted at trying to go into these deep waters and explore things, and people have been resistant. Others of you, this is the first time you've done it, and maybe you were expecting someone to be honest because that's how you've always thought of them. They're honest. They always tell me the truth. They would never lie to me. They would never withhold any information from you. And you go to this person and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or maybe we could talk about that. And you're just like so shocked that they move away from the subject, that they divert your conversation. And you're like, what? That's not what I expected of you. So in some of your cases, there's a little bit of a shock over this. How you handle it, I'm not able to connect. I feel there's like a barrier. I feel there's like, for those of us remember, or those of us who can remember, there's like that static screen that used to come up on TV when there was like no programming on TV. So it's just like that, snowy, white, black and gray screen, right? That's what I'm sensing here. And it feels actually like a physical barrier, like a physical wall, but it's making that sound and I'm seeing that visual. So how this can be resolved, how you move past this, I have no clue. No clue. Okay? But hopefully you have a clue because it's your life. Your overall energy, the Lovers. Now, on its face and in its name, it can signify a romantic relationship or some type of intimate entanglement with someone who isn't a friend or a family member, okay? If that applies this whole time, if this has been a spousal thing or a boyfriend-girlfriend thing or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever your orientation, it does not matter. Perfect. I'm not going to roll with that too hard because that wasn't what came out strongly. But for some of you, this has been a situation where you're at odds or at a crossroads in your relationship. However long you've been with them, however connected you feel with them, because this is also, in many tarot readers' estimation, one of the cards of soulmate connection. I will allow it, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in with Jay's standard caveat of just because it's a soulmate to you does not mean that this relationship is going to be the most positive, most loving, most incredible relationship that you just can't get enough of. Sometimes soulmate relationships we have in our lives are tumultuous, are unsatisfactory, and take it with a grain of salt, okay? And the other caveat again is also it does not have to be romantic. Soulmates can be family members. One of my soulmates is my sister, and she and I just had a little scuff the other day. We had a little scuffle. Not a scuffle, but we had a little tiff, right? And that happens. No soulmate relationship, regardless of the type, soulmate, twin flame, karmic partner, whatever, none of them are perfect. So that's one of the biggest things I want people to take away. If you work with me, if you watch me, that's one of the biggest things I'd hope you take on board. Now, at the center of this, beyond relationships with someone who may or may not be a soulmate to you, who may or may not be a lover to you, is the aspect of choice. Choices, okay? Taurus, your reading is about how to proceed. And that's compounded, or at least made all the more difficult when we don't have all the answers, when all of those blanks aren't filled in, but we still have to make choices. It's like going to a test. Like if you're being tested mathematically or in like an essay, you read an essay and tell me the out or not the outcome, but summarize the essay, but 30% of the words were missing. It's kind of like, well, I can't really summarize what was going on there because I don't have all the information. So I think that's what you're working with. I think you're trying to, or you're having to make decisions when all of the answers or all of the information is not there. Okay? Taurus, that is your reading for December. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Let me know if this resonated with you by leaving a comment if you choose. And if you have not subscribed, friends, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to share the video, you can do that as well. Taurus, I will be back soon to do your mid-December readings. Until then, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Take care.